June 19th, 1975. It is late evening in Oak Park, Illinois, a humid, quiet summer night in the suburbs. I want you to visualize the basement kitchen of the house at 1147 South Winona Avenue. It is a modest room, cool and dimly lit, a refuge from the summer heat. The air is thick with a smell that anyone who grew up in an Italian-American home would recognize instantly. It is the heavy, comforting scent of garlic sizzling in olive oil, fresh green peppers, and Italian sausage. Standing at the stove is a 67-year-old man. He is wearing a comfortable, loose-fitting robe. He is relaxed. He is humming to himself, stirring the pan with a spatula, preparing a late-night snack for a guest who is sitting just a few feet behind him at a small formica table. To the outside world, this looks like a grandfather enjoying his retirement. He looks harmless. He looks fragile, recovering from a recent gallbladder surgery. But this is not just any old man making dinner. This is Sam Giancana, the former boss of the Chicago outfit, the man who arguably stole the 1960 presidential election for John F. Kennedy, the man who sat in hotel rooms with the CIA and plotted the assassination of Fidel Castro, the man who shared a mistress with the President of the United States. For 2 decades, Sam Giancana was the face of the American Mafia. He was the flashy, arrogant, unstoppable force that brought the Chicago outfit out of the shadows and onto the front pages. He has FBI agents parked down the street watching his every move. He has millions of dollars stashed in secret bank accounts from Iran to the Caribbean. He believes, with every fiber of his being, that he is untouchable. He turns his back to his guest to flip a sausage. He feels safe. He is in his own fortress. He is with a friend he has trusted for 30 years, and that is his mistake. There is no screaming, no struggle, no dramatic monologue, just a soft puffed sound from a .22 caliber high-standard pistol equipped with a homemade silencer. A single bullet enters the back of his head. It severs his spine instantly. Sam falls forward. He hits the linoleum floor with a thud, while the sausages are still sizzling in the pan, unaware that the chef is dead. The killer stands up. He walks over to the body. He turns the old man over with his foot. He looks into the face of the man who once terrified the entire city of Chicago, and then, calmly, methodically, he fires 6 more shots directly into his face and throat. Sam Giancana died wearing pajamas, holding a spatula in a puddle of his own blood. But here is what you need to understand right now. Sam Giancana didn't die because he lost a war with New York. He didn't die because the police raided his house. He didn't die because a rival gang ambushed him in the street. Sam Giancana died because he forgot who really paid for the groceries. He died because he refused to share his gambling profits with the quiet, cold men back in River Forest. And most importantly, he died because he broke the cardinal rule of the Mafia. You never ever let your ego get bigger than the family. This is the definitive story of the assassination of Sam Giancana. We are going to strip away the myths and look at the brutal corporate restructuring of the Chicago outfit. This is the story of how greed, arrogance, and a refusal to follow orders turned a quiet kitchen dinner into a historic slaughter, and how Tony Accardo, the true power behind the throne, decided that the man who wanted to be famous needed to be silenced forever. To understand why a man like Giancana ends up dead on his kitchen floor, we have to go back. We have to understand the monster he created, and why the outfit eventually decided they had to destroy their own creation. In the 1940s and 50s, the Chicago outfit was run by men like Paul the Waiter Ricca and Tony Joe Batters Accardo. These men were traditionalists. They were students of Al Capone, but they had learned from Capone's mistakes. They knew that fame was dangerous. They believed that a gangster should look like a plumber, or a baker, or a retired salesman. They lived in the shadows. They wanted to be invisible. Then came Sam. Sam Giancana was the opposite of invisible. He was neon. He represented a new generation of mobster. He realized that in the golden age of America, being a gangster could make you a celebrity. He took over the day-to-day operations of the outfit in the late 50s, and he changed everything. He wasn't content with running numbers and bookmaking operations in Chicago. He had a vision. He saw the potential of Las Vegas before almost anyone else. He saw the potential of international expansion. Under Giancana's reign, the outfit became a global enterprise. They were skimming millions from the Stardust, the Riviera, and the Desert Inn in Vegas. But Sam didn't stop there. He looked at the Caribbean. He looked at Central America. He looked at the Middle East. He was a rainmaker. He brought in so much cash that the old guard, Accardo and Rica, tolerated his flamboyant lifestyle. And what a lifestyle it was. While Tony Accardo was at home having barbecues with his grandkids, Sam Giancana was flying to Hollywood. He was dating the Maguire sisters, a famous singing trio. He was hanging out with Frank Sinatra at the Sands. He wore custom sharkskin suits, drove the fastest convertibles, and gave interviews to reporters. He openly mocked the FBI agents who tailed him. He was drunk on power. There is a famous story where Sam looked at a federal agent and said, "I own this town. I own the judges, the cops, and the politicians. There is nothing you can do to me." For a while, he was right. He was so powerful that the United States government came to him for help. This is the part of the story that sounds like fiction, but it is documented historical fact. In the early 1960s, the CIA was desperate to remove Fidel Castro from power in Cuba. They had tried everything and failed. So they decided to outsource the job. They reached out to the Mafia. Sam Giancana sat in meetings with CIA operatives. They discussed poison pills, exploding cigars, and sniper rifles. Think about the level of ego that gives a man. He wasn't just a criminal anymore. He was a partner of the state. He was helping the White House. He felt like he had a get-out-of-jail-free card signed by Uncle Sam. But there is a fatal flaw in the personality of men like Giancana. They start to believe that they are the source of the power, rather than just the manager of it. They forget that the power belongs to the position, not the person. By the mid-70s, the tide had turned. The golden era was over. The FBI was cracking down harder than ever. Sam's high-profile antics were no longer bringing in money, they were bringing in heat. The bosses back in Chicago, specifically Tony Accardo and Joey Ayupa, had grown tired of seeing Sam's face in the newspaper. So they forced him out. In a move that must have destroyed his pride, they told him to step down as boss. They replaced him. Sam went into exile. He moved to Mexico, living in a luxury villa in Cuernavaca. He had servants, gardens, and absolute luxury. He lived like a retired king, but Sam couldn't let go. Even in exile, he was hustling. He was setting up gambling boats and international deals that the outfit didn't fully control. He was making millions of dollars on the side, using the connections he had built while he was boss. And this is where the seed of his death was planted. The outfit operates on a very simple corporate structure. It's a pyramid scheme. You kick up. It doesn't matter if you are a soldier, a capo, or a retired boss. If you are earning using the reputation of the Chicago outfit, you owe a piece of that action to the administration. The bosses in Chicago sent messengers to Mexico. They told Sam, "We know you're making money. We want our cut." Sam Giancana said no. Think about the sheer arrogance of that decision. He told Tony Accardo, a man who used to beat people to death with baseball bats for Al Capone, a man who had never spent a night in jail, that he wasn't going to share. Sam argued that since he was retired and doing this work overseas, the money was his. He argued that he had taken all the risks, so he should keep the rewards. He stopped kicking up. He stopped showing respect. He started acting like he was bigger than the organization that made him. In the corporate world, refusing to pay dividends to the board gets you sued. In the Mafia, it gets you erased. But money was only half the equation. If it had just been the money, maybe, just maybe, they would have negotiated. But there was another shadow hanging over Sam Giancana in 1975. A shadow cast by Washington, D.C. the Church Committee. After the Watergate scandal, the United States Senate launched a massive investigation into the intelligence agencies. They wanted to know about the CIA's illegal activities. They wanted to open the closet and let all the skeletons out. And the biggest skeleton in that closet was the CIA Mafia plot to kill Castro. The Senate subpoenaed Sam Giancana. They wanted him to fly to Washington, sit in a chair on national television, raise his right hand, and tell the world about his dealings with the spies, the presidents, and the plots. This terrified everyone. It terrified the CIA, obviously, but it terrified the Chicago outfit even more. Tony Accardo had spent 40 years keeping the organization invisible. Silence was his religion. The idea of Sam Giancana a man who loved the sound of his own voice, a man who was bitter and angry at the outfit for demanding his money. Going on national television was a nightmare scenario. Accardo sat in his home in River Forest and did the math. It was a cold, rational calculation. On one side of the ledger, you have a greedy, arrogant former boss who is stealing millions of dollars from the family. On the other side, you have a loose cannon who is about to testify before the Senate and could potentially bring down the entire structure of the Mafia to save his own skin. Would Sam talk? Would he cut a deal? Would he trade the secrets of the outfit for immunity? Accardo couldn't take that risk. The risk was existential. The decision was made. The order went out. Sam Giancana had to be neutralized. Now, let's zoom in on the mechanics of the hit. Because killing a man like Sam Giancana isn't simple. You can't just blow up his car. That brings too much attention, and Sam was paranoid. He knew people wanted him dead. He had recently returned to Chicago from Mexico. He needed gallbladder surgery. He was staying in his old house in Oak Park. The house was a fortress, heavy doors, good locks. And, ironically, the FBI provided the best security money could buy. They had surveillance teams watching the street 24 hours a day, logging everyone who came in and out. But on the night of June 19th, something strange happened. The FBI agents observing the house mysteriously disappeared. To this day, we don't know exactly why. Some theories say the CIA, terrified of what Sam might say, used their influence to call off the FBI surveillance to leave the door open for a hit. Others say it was just a shift change or a mundane budget cut. Whatever the reason, the street was clear. The shield was down. The outfit didn't send a hit team with masks and machine guns. That's Hollywood. In the real Mafia, when they want to kill a boss, they use the ultimate weapon, intimacy. They sent a friend. We still don't know for 100% certain who pulled the trigger. No one was ever convicted, but every piece of evidence, every whisper on the street, points to one man, Dominic Butch Blasi. Butch Blasi wasn't just a soldier, he was Sam's driver, his bodyguard, his confidant. They had traveled the world together. They had shared secrets. Sam loved him like a brother. If there was one man in the world Sam trusted not to hurt him, it was Butch. Butch came over late that evening. Sam let him in. They probably hugged. They went down to the basement kitchen. It was a hot night, and the basement was the coolest place in the house. Sam asked him if he was hungry. He took out the sausage and peppers. He started cooking. I want you to pause and really think about this detail. It's the most chilling part of the story. You don't cook for a man you don't trust. You don't turn your back on a man you fear. That frying pan, that smell of garlic, it represents total, absolute vulnerability. Sam felt safe. He was home. He was standing at the stove, stirring the peppers. He was probably talking about his surgery or complaining about the Senate subpoena. He had no idea that the man sitting behind him had a contract in his pocket. The killer waited for the perfect moment. He waited until Sam was distracted by the food. He stood up from the table quietly. He drew the .22 pistol. Click. The first shot hit Sam in the back of the head. It was a masterstroke of violence, quick, efficient. Sam was dead before his brain could even register the sound. He fell forward, crumbling onto the floor, but the killer wasn't done. And this is where the business becomes a message. If this were just about silencing him, one shot was enough. But the killer walked over to the body. He turned Sam over onto his back. He looked at the face of his old friend, and he fired 6 more shots. He shot him specifically around the mouth and under the chin. In the symbolism of the mob, this is known as the mouth of a rat. It is a ritualistic execution. It tells anyone who sees the crime scene photos, and the outfit knew the police would take photos, that this man died because of his mouth. It was a broadcast to the world. It said, "He talked too much." It was a direct reference to the upcoming Senate hearings. It was Tony Accardo signing his name on the masterpiece. The killer then wiped the gun down, or perhaps put it in his pocket. He stepped over the body. He didn't turn off the stove. He walked out the side door into the humid Illinois night, leaving the lights on and the food burning. When the caretaker found the body later, the scene was surreal. It looked like a normal domestic night interrupted by a slaughter. Sam Giancana, the man who had dined with presidents and slept with movie stars, was lying in a pool of blood next to his refrigerator, wearing comfortable clothes. The aftermath was exactly what Accardo had calculated. The Senate hearings lost their star witness. With Giancana dead, the link between the CIA and the Mafia evaporated. The secrets of the plots to kill Castro died on that kitchen floor. The government was furious, but there was nothing they could do. You can't subpoena a ghost. And the money? The millions Giancana had hidden? It vanished. The outfit likely absorbed what they could, and the rest was lost in the labyrinth of offshore banking. But the most chilling part of this story is the reaction of the underworld. There was no war. There was no revenge. There was no chaos. The soldiers in the street knew exactly why it happened. They saw the news. They understood the message. It was a reminder of the absolute power of the hierarchy. Tony Accardo had proved once again that he was the ultimate survivor. He demonstrated that no one, absolutely no one, is safe. If Sam Giancana, a man with connections to the White House, could be killed in his own kitchen while making a snack, then nobody was untouchable. It exposes the great lie of the Mafia brotherhood. We watch movies like The Godfather and we romanticize the loyalty. We like to think these men have a code of honor that binds them together. But Sam Giancana's death proves that the only true code is profit and self-preservation. Sam and Butch Blasi had been friends for decades. They had history. But when the order came down from Accardo, that friendship evaporated instantly. Butch Blasi, if it was indeed him, chose the winning side. He chose survival. He traded his best friend's life for his own standing in the organization. Sam Giancana spent his whole life trying to be legitimate. He wanted to be accepted by high society. He wanted to be more than just a thug from Chicago. He wanted respect. But in the end, he died the most cliché gangster death possible, betrayed by his best friend over a dispute about cash. The investigation into his murder went nowhere. The police questioned everyone, but they learned nothing. Without a murder weapon, without witnesses, and with the immense power of the outfit closing ranks, the case went cold. It remains, officially, one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in American history. But in the streets of Chicago, it was never a mystery. It was just business. Tony Accardo remained in power for decades after this hit. He eventually died of natural causes in 1992, never spending a single night in jail for a felony. He outlived Giancana. He outlived the Senate hearings. He outlived the golden age of the mob. He won because he understood what Giancana didn't. In the Mafia, invisibility is a superpower, and fame is a death sentence. So, the next time you see that famous black and white photo of Sam Giancana smiling, or walking out of a courthouse looking defiant, I want you to remember the basement in Oak Park. I want you to remember the smell of burnt sausage. Remember that all that glamour, all that arrogance, ended with 7 bullets from a silenced pistol. This is the reality of the Chicago outfit. There is no retirement plan. There is no gold watch for years of service. There is only the day you become a liability. And on June 19th, 1975, Sam Giancana's bill came due. I'm really curious to know what you think really sealed his fate. Was it the stolen gambling money, or was it the fear that he would talk to the Senate? And do you believe the theory that the CIA played a role in removing the security from his house that night, effectively opening the door for the mob? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I read every single one of them. And if you want to know more about the man who gave the order, the man who was so terrifying that even Al Capone respected him, you need to watch the video on your screen right now. It tells the story of Tony Accardo, the real godfather of Chicago, and how he got away with everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.